Ladies and gentlemen, members of Fly Shields Fly Nation, we are welcoming our next guest to the pod. Today's guest is 315 Made, an upstate New York product, having starred in lacrosse and football at West Hill High School in Geddes, New York, just near Onondaga Lake and a stone's throw from Syracuse. He did a postgraduate year as a winged beaver of Avon Old Farm School in Avon, Connecticut, which might be the coolest mascot I've ever heard of. He pursued his collegiate football career as a Nebraska Cornhusker for 3 seasons before entering the transfer portal prior to the 2022 season to join the Oregon Ducks for his final 2 campaigns. He was a part of the core that ushered in a new era of Duck dominance under Coach Dan Lanning, the linchpin of the Oregon Ducks defensive line. He recorded a tackle for loss and a deflected pass in a 28-27 Holiday Bowl win over Mac Brown's North Carolina Tar Heels, followed by a blowout of then number 18 Liberty 45-6 in the Fiesta Bowl in his final collegiate game. He went on to play for the New York Football Giants, Buffalo Bills, and then back to the Giants this previous season before signing on to defend the district and our UFL title this spring. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, defensive tackle, number 98, Casey in Rogers.
Let's go.
And you did all that
on the
breath.
show.
That might be one of the best intros I've ever had. Wow. Man, that's top 5, top 2. Dang, I'm impressed. Yeah, you got
welcome to the show, Case.
The hometown. Like no one even knows about Geddes. Like that's like a little town within Syracuse. There you go. And then the Winged Beavers. Man, you got deep. You got to tell me where you got all this information from.
I'm a history teacher by trade, so I get down in the weeds with it. So
appreciate that intro and thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. Well, we'll get right into it here. So, it's funny too. You had a sack this past week, and before we even knew you were coming on, I wrote down in my notes, sack, Rogers hits the sexy Dexy. So I have to know, based on, our research, right? Is that your go-to, or is that a nod to Dexter? Because I know that you guys were on the Giants at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, that was a little bit of a nod to Dex. Yeah, while I was there, he took a lot of time to work with me. Guys of that caliber don't necessarily have to do that, especially as a young rookie coming in and then leaving and then coming back. Dexter was always there to help me out whenever he could, and it was just a really good vet to have in the room. But yeah, no, I always told him that I would do that the first time I got a sack, and first time I had a professional sack. So when I hit it, I didn't really know what to do, but the only thing that could come to mind was the sexy Dexy, and so that's what I did. I got to fix it up though. It wasn't very good. I got to practice it. So that's what I've been doing this week. I've been practicing it, but I don't know if I'm going to do it again. I got some other celebrations in mind, but we'll see. We'll see. Well, it's kind of a last second thing, whatever comes to the head first.
It got me.
The worst thing you can do is get a play and not have a celebration.
That's what I'm saying.
And you just do something that doesn't make any sense. So you had that in the chamber. I love that you executed, but I'm excited to see what comes for you next. I'm thinking like a spicy Casey, a spicy Roger, something on your own.
I'm trying to think of a name, but I couldn't.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm that. We'll get back. We'll figure that out another episode. But yeah, I got a couple more bullets in the chamber in the celebration category. So we'll see.
Man, can't wait. So speaking of celebration for us linemen, I love having you on. Like, I'm an offensive lineman by trade. I coach O-line, D-line now. Love me some trenches. I'm wondering, if you ask me as an O-lineman, my favorite feeling is planting somebody for a pancake. I know you'd probably say as a D lineman, it's bringing a quarterback down for a sack. But I'm wondering if you could compare the feeling of a sack to when you guys up in Oregon played number 19, Coach Prime led Colorado, and they ran that fake punt.
I know where this is going.
Yards in a first down. What felt better for you? Is that a sack, or is it you springing 20 yards in open field?
Yeah, well, the crazy thing was that was the first time I ever touched the ball in college, so that was all new feelings. I've had sacks before, whether it was in high school, prep school, or whatever. But yeah, that was pretty good. And then to hit the first down celebration right in front of Prime, and the guys who were kind of sitting there like, what just happened? But yeah, no, that was a pretty cool feeling. But for me, I have a lot of pride in D line and my craft. So when you get a sack, that's pretty much the best thing a D lineman can do, right? That or a TFL. So that means you're doing your job well. So that was kind of I think a sack is you could have 50 plays in a game, but if you get one sack, you have a good game. You know what I mean? I mean, it's really the only job in the world where you could play 700 snaps in a year and get out of 4 of those, 4 out of 700 snaps, you get a sack. You're not a bad football player. But I also I gotta say this too. Like I'm the 2020. I think that was 2023 leading yards per carry on Oregon that year. One for 20.
Hey, that's in the history books forever.
So
that's locked in.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I should be touching the ball more. I'll have to talk to Kais about that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying if Galladay, if the backs get a little tired down there in DC,
you feel me? That's what I'm saying.
You got some experience. You got good form.
Exactly.
Cover the points.
Guys let Riley get that fake, that little trick play.
And we did that fake punt. I let Gerard know. I said, 2 yards is cute. You should have got 20. I mean, that's what I did. And I'm 300 pounds. I'm about 150 pounds heavier than you.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, that was a pretty both of. I mean, a sack and being able to run the ball. Both of those are really cool moments. So, but yeah.
All right.
That's what's up. So Coach Mars and I, we know each other coaching football together. I'm a huge supporter of multi-sport athletes. I'm actually doing this call from a track meet. We got city championships today down in Philly.
Oh, let's go.
I know you played lacrosse. How much did the other sports you played when you were younger? How much do they come in, and how do they come in and help you be a better football player?
I say this all the time, especially when I talk to younger kids. I wouldn't be a professional football player if it wasn't for every other sport I played. I still preach it. I'm going to practice what I preach, right? So I don't know if you guys saw, but while I was in between teams, I was up in Canada playing pro lacrosse. So it's I think there's a huge thing in a point of development for young athletes that cross training, and even if it's not necessarily a physical aspect of a sport, but mentally learning, each sport brings its own mental battles, its own, along with physical battles and so on. But I just think sports, they teach you a lot about life, right? I mean, it's the one thing that can directly correlate, you can direct football directly with life sometimes. So, I think every sport does that as well. And, I tell people all the time, I wouldn't be a professional football player if it wasn't for, playing lacrosse, playing hockey. I wrestled. I just wouldn't have happened. I would have not been as much of a developed athlete as I am today. So I think it's super important. And I tell kids all the time, I think the worst thing you can do is specify in one sport for your whole teenage career. It's going to wear you down. You're not going to, sometimes it's important to get away from a sport for a season. While football is a fall sport, you go into the spring or the winter, you're focused on another sport, but your body's still staying in shape. You're learning different motor skills and different physical skills. So I think it's important. I know when I have kids, they will be playing as many sports.
I think a lot of athletes, to harp on what you said, I think a lot of athletes think that the recruiting process will leave them behind. And for you, you were committed to play collegiate rugby. And as soon as you decommitted, all the schools were like, hey, come play football, because they want to see that athleticism. They want to see, to me, one of the things that happens when you play other sports is you learn how to solve other problems and you learn how to make decisions on the fly. That translates right back to whatever you do. So all the physical stuff is great. The mental stuff is great. And you're a walking, talking, living, breathing example of what it does for you. That's crazy. You're in the offseason playing pro lacrosse.
Yeah, so my dad's a collegiate coach. He coached lacrosse at Syracuse, and I grew up around him recruiting and stuff like that. And I know for a fact that my dad would rather take a three sport guy than a guy who's been a one sport guy his whole life. So in terms of recruiting, it just shows the more sports you play, the more physically, athletically developed you're going to be. So That's just what coaches are seeing now.
Case, were you one of the face-off guys? I feel like you'd be vicious in a face-off.
I did face off. That was one of my things. I like to score goals, right? So like I always said, why not get all the credit, right? So go score goals, go win games for your team. But so I played midi in attack, but one of the things I was really good at was facing off. And actually now we're on the topic of different sports, but like when I wrestling is very similar to a lacrosse face off. You're using every muscle in your body. You got to use
Yeah.
leverage and torque. So it's just that's one of those things that where another sport kind of translated to that.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
it. You're
that's
talking
a
to
good
two former
comparison.
wrestlers too, so you're speaking the right language. I saw that your dad too was a D3 national champion wrestler, and then
Yeah,
traded in the shoes for the lacrosse stick full time. Was
yeah.
that did he ever push you toward wrestling more when you got older, or was it just kind of exposing you to things and seeing what stuck?
Yeah, so I mean, my dad was a three-sport college athlete, so he grew up in that world too. So he never really forced me to play one sport versus the other. I think he was kind of in the same mindset as me, is let's play as many as we can, and when opportunities to play whatever sport at the next level come, we'll figure it out then. But yeah, no, he
Yeah.
was a wrestler, and I played hockey most of my high school career. I didn't wrestle until I got to prep school. So, and he was cool. He never, and
Okay.
then he's also a college lacrosse coach, uh, and which I was committed to play for him until I decommitted to play football. So like he understood it. He gets it. So it was cool. Like I mean, it was kind of a weird conversation to have at dinner that, hey, Dad, I don't
I
want
was
to play
gonna
for
say,
you
was it
anymore.
weird?
But he was fully on board. My mom was a Division III soccer player, so she got that life too. So my sister played lacrosse at Syracuse as well. So it just kind of was a
Yo,
familiar
crazy
situation.
athletic family.
Good genes, good genes. So
Can I ask you a Syracuse question?
yeah, what's up?
So it's kind of like just niche question here, but my first job I traveled and worked with college students, and I went to Syracuse was in my territory. I went up there 3 times, and whenever I would go up there, I was like hooked on dinosaur barbecue.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering, like, is that as good as I think it is as an outsider, or is that just kind of like a student tourist visiting person trap?
No, no, it's as good as you think it is because look, we're down here in Dallas, right? So I grew up on dinosaur barbecue. It's pretty much the only barbecue I really knew until I got down to the South. I would put dinosaur barbecue up against any of the barbecue spots down here. And I'm talking like Hutchings, Hurtado's, like some of the biggest names of
Whoa.
barbecue down here. So like I would put Dino up there. It's like people they're
Okay,
moving one of their
that
locations
makes me.
out of New York City and people are throwing a fit. So no, Dino is legit.
Oh, they're
It's the Manhattan one's out. Yep. Yep.
oh no,
And they're
that's like
putting one
my
they're
only. I just went.
yeah,
Oh,
they're putting one in Buffalo, right in Orchard Park. So that will be good. Go to a game and get some
okay.
barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually. I mean, can't knock that business model. Okay, all right. Well, anyway, I'm glad I feel better about it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
This is that's pretty crazy. That you're stacking it up against the Texas barbecue spots. That might be the
Yeah.
clip that we might have to clip that one and see if people get a little riled up about that.
Let's
I'm
see
cool with it.
we'll
I'm
go
cool with
finish from Texas.
I'll die on that hill. Dino's elite. Dino's legit. Um uh, I'm not saying that barbecue down here is
10 toes
bad. It
down.
is not. They know what they're doing down here, but the man who started that barbecue spot
They
up in
definitely
upstate New
do.
York also knew what he was doing as well. So it's been pretty fun to compare them, but
Respect.
I'm yeah, I'm gonna go Dino all the way.
Let's go,
I
Casey. I want
love that.
to ask you too. I know again from an offensive lineman, defensive lineman perspective. I know how familiar you can get with that offensive line room from a defensive lineman's perspective, or vice versa. So I'm
Hmm.
wondering which of the linemen right now in the defender's own line room gives you fits on the practice field or makes you work, gets you better. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, I mean, just here, obviously, you see him come in. He's a huge body, the big man, NFL experience. He's pretty fun to go against. Mike Mietti, he's a true leader. He runs this, he's in the middle. He's running the show. He's really, a
Coach
vet. And
Mars loves
Yeah,
Miami.
that's my favorite. He's my favorite.
He he's smart, man. He's a smart football player. Obviously runs. He's man in the middle. Runs that O line. Trey does a good job. Steve does a good job. Mike, the other Mike, does a great job. It's something that it was kind of cool to see how they responded after the first game. I think no one was more tough on themselves than those guys after that St. Louis game, giving up as many sacks as they did. And I can tell you right now, it's been a night and day difference. From the first practice we had after that game, they came ready to work, and it showed improved. I think they've been really consistent, and I think in football, consistency is key, and doing simple right is what's going to win you a championship. So they've done a really good job, and they've just I'm excited to see them keep going, and I'm excited to see them keep playing better and better as we keep going on, because I mean right now we're playing really well, and I think it's scary because I don't think any of us have felt like we've played a complete game yet, and we've played to the best to our ability. So there's that chip on our shoulder to keep doing that, and I know the O line is front and running in that department. So it's been fun to watch those guys and play against them.
Yeah, I love what you said. Keep it. If playing, what was it? Do the simple thing. Right, that's good stuff.
Doing simple right can win you a lot of football games, a lot of games in general, no matter what sport. A lot of times people overthink and overcomplicate things, but a lot of times if you just do simple right, it's it can cause a lot of W's for you.
With the team I coach, we preach fast, free, and violently focused.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what this defense is playing. Like I'm a defensive coordinator by trade before I took over as head coach, and the defense is just so fun. And like you guys really do get it done in the trenches. What's that room like? Like what are the personalities like in that room with the D line?
I mean, there's a million different personalities. You have it's probably one of the funniest rooms I've ever been in. Like there's not a time where we're not together, where we're not dying laughing. But just the experience, it's funny because you feel like everyone, you got players from four corners of the earth. You got Dennis Johnson, who's played at high Division II. You got Joe Wallace, who's been a UFL, all UFL team. You have Devonta Maxwell, who you could arguably say could still be in the NFL if he didn't get hurt. You have me, who's been in the NFL, trying to get back. You have Boogie Basham, second round pick. You have D-Row, who's had success in the NFL. Like you have unlimited bullets in this room.
That's really a crazy room to have in the UFL.
Yeah, so it's like
a really talented room.
It's really fun to go to work with them. It's freeing because these guys, they know, like, the good thing about Blake Williams is Blake Williams allows you to do, if you can do your job and, do your 111th within his scheme of the defense, he will allow you to play to your ability, right? So we have the freedom to do a lot of stuff in the pass rush game, a freedom to, whatever alignments we think we need to be able to get into. And it's fun to be able to work that in with the other guys as well. So, like, I mean, pass rush games to, where I line up either as a 2-eye or a shade, speaking trenches there. But, like, these guys, there's not a weak link. And that's really fun because it allows you just to go do simple right? You know what I mean? Do simple well and I got another good quote for you. No fear of failure and desire to succeed. So, like, it's easy to do that with these guys.
No fear of failure.
I love it. That does make it fun to play in that room, and everybody's working to get better for themselves, but also for the good of the group, and that pours over to the rest of the team. Y'all are getting pressures, making it easy for the linebackers to hit their reads. The defensive backs aren't back there covering for ages. You guys really do get it started in the trenches, so it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been. I tell people all the time, this is the most fun I've had playing in a while, and I think it goes from having a coach like Coach Shannon and Coach Blake, and then just having Coach Cruzy, all these guys. I mean, they make it. It's been really fun. I didn't really know what to expect coming in UFL. I just had no idea what to expect, but it's been the most fun I've had. I enjoy going to practice every day. I enjoy suiting up next to these guys. These are not just friendships that will last a lifetime. Now it's one of my most proud moments of my careers. Like, I mean, like, a lot of people don't really know about the UFL, but it's been one of the most fun times I've had playing in my career. So And that's a count to those guys. It's not just, it's not just because I get to play football. It's because who I get to play football with.
You just gave me my last question. You gave me like a perfect lead into my last question is, as the UFL is growing and it is getting bigger, what would you say to fans in general? Like people who might like college football, might like the NFL, high school football, but they're not tapped into the UFL. What would you say is the reason to watch this league specifically, and more specifically the DC Defenders?
Yeah, well, I think any, I'm not going to call it a minor league team, but I'm going to say any league where you still have the ability to go to the next level, right? So like AHL, G League, UFL to the NFL. I'm a big believer, and that is the most pure form of just the most intense, I'm trying to think of a better word for it, intense. Guys are fighting and scratching and doing whatever they can to get to the next level. And I remember seeing it when I was a kid watching AHL hockey, how competitive it is, because it's not the top anymore. There's sometimes when you get these guys in the NFL who get there and they've made it, and they're not necessarily that fight is gone in them. You know what I mean? It's they've made it. They're happy where they're at. Where a lot of guys here aren't, they like the UFL, but they would rather be, they want to get to the next level. So I think when fans start watching UFL, they'll see how competitive it is. They'll see how, how hard guys are playing, and I don't think people believe this, but it's really good football. These are really good football players. They're very high talented. They're these guys a lot of the guys have played in the NFL, so obviously they're good enough to be there. They, maybe there's different scenarios on why everyone's in the UFL, but maybe, one guy, lost a roster spot due to a number situation, had to play in the UFL, and that's what gets him back in the NFL. There's a million stories like that. So, just buy in, be patient with the league. They're every year, every day, they're starting to become more and more developed in terms of a league standpoint. And I think the UFL is trending in talent and trending in entertainment. It's just going up, and I think the more and more people see it and more people believe it, the better it's going to get.
I love that. I'm excited for the growth.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be cool. Like I keep telling these guys, I'm like, wait, watch 30 years from now, the UFL is going to be like, stadiums are going to be 100,000 people. I was like, and we'll be able to say, we were kind of the start of that, even though it's been going on for a few years, but it's got to start somewhere. So, and Rapoli and all the owners, like they're very, they're very into it and figuring it out too. They're proactive in getting it right, and they really want it. They don't want to take shortcuts. So it's it's pretty cool when you have like an ownership and people who are working on that side of things and trying to do things right. As a player, you got to respect it. They're doing what's best for us too. So it's cool.
Well, Casey, thank you so much for being on. You got me fired up about Dino Barbecue, got me fired up about you bringing down Chandler Rogers this weekend. I'm ready to see the next celebration. But thank you again so much for being on. We appreciate it.
Of course.
We got your back. And Jay, you got anything else?
I'm just excited for the next sack Celly.
Yeah.
I just want to see the Celly.
I got you.
It's coming this week. I think you're getting it this week. We had your teammate on last week. Mason Fairchild was on.
Yeah, and then he scored the touchdown.
I don't know if you remember this, but it was also his first touchdown of the year.
You think a sack celebration is crazy? Hey, you see my big butt in the end zone. Wait to see what I'll be doing there. God help us.
Super boost, baby.
Yeah, I might be climbing. I might be climbing the beer snake. All right.
Climb the beer snake. And slug one, slam it down. Let's go. Well, good luck this weekend. Go get the job done. Shields up. Thanks for having on the pod, man.
Yeah, got you guys. Hey, shout out. Give me a shout if you see me on the field. I would love to meet you guys.
Absolutely.
Yep. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Shields up.
Yes, sir.
See you, Casey.